North Liberty. Here we go. Loosen up. My legs are going to be really sore tomorrow from working out yesterday. It's going to be really sore. So last time we talked elections. This time we're going to talk golf carts because that's a natural segue. The end of October, the City Council passed a golf cart ordinance, which should be in effect now. It is in effect now through the end of 2012 when it sunsets, unless council takes some action at that point. So first off, to drivers of normal cars and trucks, you should be aware and watch out that there will be little slow-moving vehicles whizzing around our streets, possibly at any time now. Golf carts are, according to law, recreational vehicles with engines smaller than 351 cubic centimeters and maximum speeds of 20 miles per hour. They are now, once you go through the inspection with the police department and get a little sticker and pay your fee, you can drive those on city streets. You do have to have a slow-moving vehicle sign on your golf cart. You have to have a little bicycle safety flag that protrudes above the roof of your golf cart. You also have to make sure you have brakes. Brakes are important for any moving vehicle, really, but they are required for golf carts. Probably cars too, but that's not in the ordinance. You have to have head and tail lights, as well as a rear view mirror on the driver's side. If you're 18 or older, you can drive your golf cart. You cannot be under 6 and be on a golf cart in North Liberty. And you can only operate them from sun up to sundown. So vampires don't get golf carts. Normal humans over 18 can have golf carts. You're allowed to drive them on city streets, but not on sidewalks, or on the trails, or on Highway 965, or on Dubuque Street, or Penn Street west of Front Street, or, and this one is iffy, you can't drive your golf cart on Interstate 380 either. I'm just telling you what the ordinance says, really. Otherwise, you can drive them anywhere you want. Not yards either. Don't drive them on your neighbor's yards. But golf carts, straightforward. That's how it goes. If you have questions and you'd like FaceNick to answer them, go ahead and hit me up on Twitter or on Facebook. Our username at both places is North Liberty, without a space. And if you got your flu shot last week, thumbs up. Be safe and eat some turkey and stuff for Thanksgiving. We'll see you in a little bit.
The other discussion that I'd like to have is a very brief one, but it's about tax information for North Liberty and in general. The reason I'm bringing this up is because many people don't fully understand their property tax bills, what it means. In my experience with talking with folks who aren't familiar with them, I would say that fully half of the folks I ask this question don't realize that the taxes they pay are not going totally to the city. They don't understand that taxes are going to multiple jurisdictions. And so I'd like to address that just briefly here and give you some sense of perspective. This chart is really the most important of what I wanted to talk about today, and that is the total tax breakdown. When you pay your property taxes, I should say we're talking property taxes here. When you pay your property taxes every year, or every 6 months, whether it's a part of your mortgage payment or whether you pay them separately to the county, about 31.5% of that total bill that you pay does come to the city of North Liberty for the ongoing operations of the city. 44%, in this case, in the Clear Creek Amana School District, would go to the school district, and 20% would go to Johnson County, the Johnson County government. And then there are some smaller divisions. Area school would be Kirkwood. The assessor is the county assessor's office, and then there's some other very minor ones. But again, out of your total tax bill, about 31.5% of that, and this is for the 2010-2011 tax year, would go to the city of North Liberty. This chart shows the historic total and the North Liberty tax levy. And it reads a little bit backwards, maybe starting the older years to the far right of the chart, and the newest year that I had the data available for would be on the far left. But as you can see, the total tax levy, or the percentage of tax that you pay on, went up as time went on. Again, unfortunately, maybe proceeding from right to left, you can see the total tax started at about 31 and ended up at almost 35 in the red bars, and then the North Liberty portion of that total is shown with the blue bars, and you can see that it started out right at about at 10 and ended up right at about 11. So, and then in the table underneath the chart, you can see what those exacting numbers are. And I guess the main point of this, or if there is a point, is to show that the taxes have not increased dramatically over the last several years. This is an interesting chart, I think. It shows the tax rates for cities in the what we call the corridor area. It's not meant to reflect well or poorly on any cities in particular, only to illustrate that the North Liberty tax rate, which is shown here with the large blue arrow on the far left, is really quite low compared to many of the other cities in the corridor area, and is certainly lowest of what we consider to be a full-service city in the corridor. This is using those same cities for comparison. This is a chart that shows the approximate amount of tax that would be paid on a $200,000 home. Again, comparing the different cities, and the school districts are noted. And the reason the school districts are noted is because each school district has a different tax levy as well. And in North Liberty, there are two different school districts, Iowa City and Clear Creek Amana. So in this particular case, we use the Iowa City School District levy information. And then the red part of the bars here, again, is each city's portion of the tax that would be collected out of the total. Again, North Liberty compares very favorably with other cities in the area. In addition, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about some recent years' accomplishments. And some of these are private, some of them are public, not meaning to take any credit for public or for private projects necessarily, but they're all part of the whole and part of what makes North Liberty an interesting and vital place to be. We did complete a 965 design study, and we've already completed phase 1 improvements. I think most folks are aware of those. We did purchase 40 acres of parkland on the west side of Jones Boulevard for future development. There have been a lot of street upgrades, as noted here. We recently improved a park off of Dubuque Street called Cornerstone Park. We have adopted a trails plan, we've adopted a parks plan, and then toward the bottom of this page shows a number of the private projects, more significant private projects that have occurred in the last few years. Some other accomplishments, we've agreed to share recreational facilities with new schools. We have a sanitary sewer facilities expansion study that's important for us to have so that we know what our future costs for expanding in different quadrants of the city are, at least as far as providing sanitary sewer services goes. Hired a number of new police officers, 5 since March of 2009. New playground structures, quite a few of them, at least 3 in the last several years. We hosted RAGBRAI, I think most folks will remember. Had a community survey. This was part of the transit survey that we discussed recently, and I think the city got some very favorable results or findings from that survey. Some other projects include traffic signal interconnect project. This is important because we all hate traffic signals, but in North Liberty they are now all interconnected so that they talk to each other and they're more easily controlled. We've accomplished, of course, important maintenance programs that include sewer main cleaning and crack sealing on the streets, and sewer manhole rehabilitation, things that have to be done on an ongoing basis or they get bad and cost a lot more when they eventually fall apart. Also, we have a state-of-the-art membrane bioreactor sanitary sewer plant that is one of the few in the country, if certainly in the Midwest, The effluent coming from our sanitary sewer plant is very, very clean, and so it takes a lot of expertise to run that plant. So we see that that's listed and associated operations with it. There are quite a number of recreation center upgrades. The city recently has been developing a new type of well. It's called an ASR well, where instead of storing water in water towers, we actually store it beneath the ground. So it's kind of an interesting process. A lot of improvements in the last few years to the city's website and TV channel. This is the last slide I wanted to show, and it really doesn't relate much to anything else we've been talking about, but maybe it's a bit of a feel-good slide. In the United States, there are 372 larger cities that the census defines as metropolitan statistical areas. These are areas that that usually consist of multiple cities that together are over 50,000, I believe, is their population criteria. And this chart lays out all of those 372, even though they're not all listed across the bottom because they wouldn't all fit there. But nonetheless, this is a chart showing the unemployment rate for all of those standard, those metropolitan statistical areas. And you can see that the Iowa City area unemployment rate is 4.4%. It's the 9th lowest of all of those 372 areas in the United States. So there's a little feel-good moment just at the end of the presentation.
Hello, my name is Craig Bopero. I'm the Public Education Captain for the North Liberty Fire Department. I'm here to give you guys today an NLFD update on about what's going on currently in our department. We are awaiting the arrival of a brand new medium-duty rescue truck. The rescue truck should arrive sometime in late December or early January, and it'll be put in service in early March. It'll be our first out truck for medical calls. It'll also be our first out truck for car accidents. So this will obviously be a truck that gets used the most, and we're very excited and we're looking forward to its arrival. We used to share part of the building with the City Council for their council chambers, and the City Council has moved their council chambers over to Quail Creek. So we recently have acquired the entire building, so now we've got some new space to work with. Right now that space is being used for our weight room, and also we're still in the process of determining what we're going to use the rest of the space for. But we're very grateful that we were given the rest of that space so that we could continue to grow, because we are a growing department. We currently have 39 members on the North Liberty Fire Department. We're always looking for new members. So if anybody out there is interested in becoming a member of the North Liberty Fire Department, you can either check out our website at www.nlfire.org, or else you can just call the North Liberty Fire Department and speak to somebody, and we'll be more than happy to give you the details of what the requirements are to be a firefighter, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with that. We recently just wrapped up Fire Prevention Week back in October. I personally went to all 5 of the elementary schools and spoke to just a little over 1,900 students this year. And of course we go to daycares and preschools as well in the area. So you know, this year alone, you know, our public education department continues to grow as our residents here in the city grow by numbers. This year we probably talked to a good 4,000 or 5,000 kids total so far this year. Talking about you know, how to stay safe if they're ever in a fire, how to get out safely if there's ever a fire, and how to prevent fires at their home. Current calls for service this year. We currently, as of the end of October of 2011, we're at 588 calls for service this year. That's about right on track with where we were at last year for calls for service. Just to kind of break down the calls, how they work out, 309 of those calls are EMS calls. EMS calls are the majority of the calls that we respond to here at the fire department. False alarm calls, 80 of those. A false alarm call would be somebody calls, says their smoke detector is going off, and we get there and the reason for the smoke detector going off is a bad battery or a bad detector. True fire calls this year so far have been 35. Fire calls can be either fires in our district or when we provide mutual aid to our surrounding communities. 115 good intent calls. A good intent call is somebody needs help getting up out of bed, into a wheelchair, somebody that needs some kind of assisted help like that. 19 hazmat calls this year we've responded to. Service calls, we have responded to 29 of those so far this year. and that kind of makes up the total 588 calls for service. So like I said, compared to last year, we're about right on track. Recently, the North Liberty Fire Department hosted its annual Halloween trick-or-treat night here at the station. We do that to provide a safe environment for the kids to come and trick-or-treat. This year, we had approximately 250 kids that stopped by and visited the fire department, and we handed out candy and hot chocolate and drinks, so they're always appreciative of that, and we always enjoy seeing all the different costumes that come in, so that's always exciting as well. You know, people always tell me when they grow up, the kids always tell me when they grow up they want to be a firefighter. That's one thing that I hear a lot. As far as costumes, I wouldn't say that the number has gone up lately, but we do see a few of those costumes, which is always pretty exciting. So.
On a Saturday morning in late October, 100 or so kids gathered at the community center to, what else? Stack cups. It's called sport stacking, or speed stacking, and the North Liberty Recreation Department and Buford Garner Elementary put on a just for fun tournament.
What's that?
This tourney wasn't sanctioned by the World Sport Stacking Association, but it was a chance for kids to come out and show off their speed and skill. Sport stackers use special cups, mats, and timers when they compete. The goal is to complete specific configurations in the fastest possible time. The world record for cycle stacking, or cycling through 7 different configurations of 12 cups, is just under 6 seconds. Sport stacking can hone hand-eye coordination, burn calories, and just be fun.
We've reached a milestone here. This has been in progress for many, many years. And this is going to be about 4.5 miles from Iowa City from the water plant to North Liberty. And it's going to be almost 18 miles by the time we come from Terry Trueblood Park south of Iowa City to North Liberty to the Mahaffey Bridge. And this is not only going to be to those locations, it's going to add on from there. We'll be going out north Dubuque Street to Solon, to Ely, on into Cedar Rapids, which goes on into Waterloo. So this is going to be one of the biggest assets for the community and for the whole area, for people bicycling, exercise, and whatever. And you tie this all together, it just brings a world of economy. I've been envious for years of what Wisconsin has done, and I'm sure some of the other board members have as well. And this is second to none. This is going to be great for our whole total community.
No, we're really tickled. The trail is open all the way through town, and it gets a lot of use. I live right here on Dubuque Street, and they're on the other side of the street now using it regularly, and it's great. We came down with a stroller today with the grandson, and you know, it's just really going to be just a great thing for the community. I just can't say enough about it.
I've been on the Trails Advisory Committee since the beginning with Janelle, and I'd like to say thank you to the Board of Supervisors who has kept hammering and making this commitment to this trails by setting money aside. Even when we were trying to get grants and it didn't happen, they just kept putting money aside, and we just kept doing it, and here we are. So thank you all. I appreciate your tenacity at working toward this.
Tell us when.
Okay. There you go.